Manjeet Singh Desi, the Labour MP for Slough, joins me. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Sheila.
Have you given it thought?
Well, look, I think, first of all, what needs to be said is that I'm very, very pleased with my own personal result in Slough, and that's why I'm deeply indebted to the good people of Slough for bestowing their faith in me. But I think many of us are deeply disappointed with the national result and to lose so many amazing, honest and hard-working colleagues who will no longer be serving their constituents. And I think now, it's only right and proper that there should be a new individual, a new direction to take our party, because the fight back needs to start immediately. After a period of reflection, we need to reflect collectively on why our message did not resonate with the British public, regroup, and immediately we need to ensure that the fight back is there to have a Labour government in the very near future, which millions of people desperately want and need.
And can that new direction have even the faintest whiff of Corbynism about it?
Well, look, I think the reasons for our overall loss are complex and varied. That's why I think it would be improper to blame it on just one individual or one.
I'm not blaming it on one individual. I'm talking about an ism, not a man.
Yeah, I think it's not everything was wrong, but ultimately the message did not resonate with the public. So we need to reflect on what worked well, what didn't work well, and then come with a new offer to the British public, because we need to regain their trust, especially in those seats that we lost. I mean, that red wall up north is incredible that we lost so many amazing MPs from there, but also what's happening north of the border as well, in that the rise in nationalism. For example, north of the border, it's that fanning of nationalism is not good. I think inevitably that will harm our United Kingdom, and that's why we suffered significant losses in the north, and in terms of not just Scotland but in England. That nationalism, I don't think that's good either.
Yeah, but there's a difference, isn't there, between, I've been thinking about this over the weekend, there's a distinct difference between nationalism and pride in nation and a sense of nation. Those are two very different things. I absolutely have pride in my nation and a sense of nation about Britain, but I don't have a nationalistic bone in my body. That can be true of many potential Labour voters as well.
Very well said. And I think that we need to reassert that Labour is a patriotic party. Our leader is patriotic. We are patriotic. We want to see the best possible outcome for our United Kingdom, not just the best possible outcome for England or Scotland or Wales or Northern Ireland. We need to work collectively. And I think that the route that the Tories are taking us towards a damaging, hard Brexit will inevitably weaken our United Kingdom. I mean, that's just playing into the hands of nationalists north of the border. And I think that will also, that this border down the Irish Sea will have consequences for the United Kingdom with respect to Northern Ireland. And I think that the fanning of nationalism there will no doubt increase as well.
I take your point. Let's leave that element of the conversation there, because my sense is it isn't the absolute highest priority for Labour at the moment. When it comes to the who of who leads the party, that's important. Despite all of the strangeness and sometimes outright dishonesty of Boris Johnson's past history and relatively recent past history, his party had a sense that he was the man to take them over the line. They gambled on him taking them over the line. Now, it paid off. Your party, in the end days of Blairism, so post-Brown, post-Miliband, you rejected Blairism, your party. You rejected it and took a gamble on Corbynism, on Jeremy Corbyn being the leader that could take you over the line. And this is where I am going to talk about the man. Yeah. He has proved twice that he can't. He's proved twice that his leadership is not trusted by the British people. So I ask you again, is it important that the next leader has not the faintest whiff of Corbyn about them?
Sheila, you make an incredibly important point. We have got a Prime Minister that is arguably the most divisive, opportunistic...
Yes, but please talk about Labour. Please talk about Labour to me.
Yeah, in the sense that he's made sexist, racist and homophobic remarks. In terms of Jeremy Corbyn, I think that the individual was vilified to an incredible extent. I don't think personally that either he is racist or that he is some sort of communist, but that's how he was painted in the last 2 or 3 years,
Look,
and ultimately that had
hang
an
on a
impact
sec, hang on a sec, hang on
on
a
how
sec.
we would proceed.
No, hang on a sec. I hear you. But listen, Boris Johnson was pilloried as racist, as sexist, as misogynist, as unfaithful, as a serial liar, as a man who planned a crime against a person to frighten them, or colluded with a crime to frighten them. He is, all of that has been presented to the British public as well. And he won. So you can't keep leaning on they were mean about Corbyn. The press element of the media is always mean about Labour leaders. They literally presented Tony Blair as the actual devil with red eyes. So I ask you, well, they did. I asked, and had a front page, is this the most dangerous man in Britain? And he still won.
Yeah. And, Gordon Brown was dour, and supposedly Ed Miliband was not patriotic, neither was his parents, and he couldn't eat a sandwich.
Yeah,
and
all the rest of it, yeah.
So I completely, I agree with you, Sheila, on that extent, and that's why we now need to regroup. We need, obviously there needs to be a new person. Well, Jeremy, has tried on a couple of occasions. Unfortunately, that hasn't been successful. So now we need a fresh face, we need fresh ideas, but we need to build that coalition of voters as well, because what we realized is that our vote has fractured in certain areas where we would never have thought it would fracture, but also Brexit played a crucial role. In Northern England, Brexit was the key central point whereby people wanted to leave the EU. But in other areas like London and the other metropolitan centres, our vote increased, or our hold of MPs increased, but that's because Brexit was also a crucial issue, but people wanting to remain in the EU. And I think also the timing of the election was another strategic error. Many of us, the likes of me, did point out that if we did not sort Brexit out before a general election, we would be playing into the hands of Alexander Boris Johnson, because he has realised that, while Brexit is not sorted, he could get out his sound bites, vacuous statements like Brexit means Brexit, get Brexit done. And he would take that message ad nauseum to the public. And that is why we have suffered, because where Brexit hasn't been sorted out, that became the preeminent issue. And we weren't able to cut through with our message about the National Health Service, public services, and, funding for our schools, for our police.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's more than that, though, isn't it? I mean, clearly there's a proper post-mortem to be done in your party's good time, of course. But it was always more than Brexit. It was also about the sort of massive giveaway of sweeties that the manifesto appeared to be. And, the British people aren't so stupid as to be constantly led by the nose by a newspaper. They're just not. And there's a danger, I think, in your party, not you necessarily as an individual, but there's a danger in your party members kind of assuming that the British public are a bit daft and are that easily led. Lots of them put Boris Johnson in whilst holding their nose, and immediately ask the question of focus group leaders and MPs on the doorstep. How long will we have to have him?
Yeah, Sheila, I think once again you're hitting the point 100%, in the sense that nobody can assume or think that the British public don't know what they're doing. But what we have got to look at is, look, we have messed up. We have let down millions and millions of people who desperately need a Labour government. That's because, in terms of economic competence, for one reason or another, we try to present the offer in terms of the leadership with regards to the manifesto that is fully costed. It's a balanced budget, apart from the pledge to the WASPy women, which I think, by the way, is a huge injustice, and that needs to be corrected.
But even they didn't believe it. Even some of them said, really? Seriously? Out of the blue? Where are you going to get that from?
Or I'll tell you what, if they didn't believe it, then I think then we've got a huge, serious...
Some of them didn't.
Messaging, in terms of messaging also. And I think that what we also need to look at is strategically how we deliver that message with regards to digital, with regards to social media, whereby we need to be cutting through. We need to be more innovative in how that's done as well. Because if people do not think that we are economically competent, we will not win. And I think that's been, it's something which is is inherently built in, that we have to show people that not only are we compassionate, that we will run balanced budgets, we will do things which are patriotic. So all of those things, in terms of defense of the realm, in terms of so many other things come into it. So the new leader, I think it's got to be, and I'm waiting anxiously to see who officially puts their names in. But I think that will be crucial. As you said, leadership counts, because for many people on the doorstep, while for some it might have been the NHS or Brexit and so on, for others it was about leadership, and so we need to factor that in as also.
Thank you. Good to talk to you. Tanmanjeet Singh Desi, Labour MP for Slough.